Fellas, how's it going?
What's going
What's
on?
going all right? What's
What
going
up?
on?
We good, bro.
Going
Hey,
on?
we have to do this. We have to do this to start the 2025 season. We got the boys balling in Burgundy with the Eagles Collective. We got a lot to talk about, fellas, with the OTAs. But yeah, let's just all introduce ourselves since it's the first time. We'll start off with you, Chris.
What's going on, y'all? I'm part of BIB Ballin In Burgundy Podcast. I'm Chris Knox. Big time Redskins fan. I got my boy Jonathan up on the top right there. You know, we ready for this season. We come to clash with the Philadelphia Eagles Week 16. First time, but unfortunately it's late. I wish it was earlier in the season, but yeah, we
Yeah,
ready.
that's what's up. That's
I
what's up.
like that. I like
Like
that.
that energy.
Whoever wants to go first, it don't matter.
Want to introduce yourself, John? You want to let them know a little bit about yourself?
I was about to say, might as well. While we are here, like Chris has said, if you're not introduced myself already, I am the co-host, co-founder, co-CEO, editor, and designer of the one, the only, one of the best Commanders podcasts out there. What is that? The Ballin In Burgundy Podcast. Say it with me now, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come
I
on
like
now.
that
We out
energy. I
here. We
like
out
this
here.
energy.
And I will see y'all, Eagles fans, December 20th at Northwest at the Castle. I will see y'all
At the
there.
castle. Ooh, they got a little
So
name
far,
for the
so far
place.
ahead, so far ahead. I'll
Cheap.
kind of go. So, yeah, I'm Warren, co-CEO with the Eagles Collective. Hey, I've been seeing the work that y'all boys do, and I said, hey, we got to talk ball with them. And we in the division, we got a lot going on. But yeah, just hit us up.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, it's good to have y'all on the show. I mean, y'all know me by now. I'm Jay. I'm co-founder of the Eagles Collective too, but I actually was the one who found them. And I was like, Warren, check these guys out. Like, they look real organized. They know what they're talking about. Good charisma. I was like, I want to collab with them. So he went on, and you guys answered shortly after that. He said,
Yeah.
yo, they locked in, so we ready to go. And we will see y'all in December. We waiting for y'all.
Oh, yeah.
We always waiting, bro. Like we just ready to play. But yeah, we had a lot going on in these OTAs. We got minicamp just ended. Just
Mhm.
how are you guys feeling? Like we going into that last minute like camp part of it in July. How do y'all feel about the team? Like where do y'all feel y'all are at with all the draft moves, trades, free agency? Where's y'all space at right now?
I'm
Chris,
gonna
go
let
ahead.
Jonathan. I'm gonna let Jonathan go on this one because if I go, it might be a minute.
All right, we'll have you go next then.
We'll go next. Yeah.
Alrighty. As well, we call Chris Mr. Optimism, so he's always got good
Yeah.
energy. I'm
Yeah,
feeling good though. In all honesty, we just put out a reel on Instagram and TikTok because YouTube does not want to work with us with reels right now. With our rookie cornerback and Trey Amos, 6'1", good speed, good size, good length, Pauls. Like I'm absolutely ecstatic for our rookie class. We made our moves for Lamey Tunsil and Tebow. You bring back Zach Ertz, B. Wagner, Lubu still hanging around for another year or two. I'm feeling good. I mean, injuries to Noah Brown and oh crap, not KJ.
is it Debo? No,
No,
it
not
ain't Debo.
No,
Got
to Noah
Debo
Brown.
too, forgot
Yeah, we got Debo. But injuries to
about
Noah
that.
Brown aside, I'm excited. I'm ready. DQ and AP put together another top coaching staff without losing any big pieces on the staff to New York, to Detroit, to Chicago, to Philly, stuff like that. But I'm excited. Camp's looking good. We in the building. We ready to go.
Nice.
I tell y'all what. I tell y'all boys what. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the season. I'm waiting for September. I believe the 7th. Like I'm ready. Like after what I saw last season and seeing what we do this offseason, getting Debo Samuel, Lermy Tunsil, getting hopefully another lockdown corner in Trey Amos,
Yep.
and hopefully our secondary getting better and our defense getting better. I believe in this team, and I think we will have a better season than what we did last season. If we don't have a better season, it will, I think, be at the same record than what we did last year.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of feel like where we're at these OTAs, a lot of people think that we're gonna hurt losing like Milton Williams, just players like that. And I
CJ.
really don't think that's gonna hurt us just because I think this Super Bowl, we didn't really change our coaching staff. Only changes we really made was the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and then the quarterback coach. But with the OC we have now, he's been with us for 5 years. So he's seen us when we were at our highs, he's seen us at our lows, and he knows what players are going to develop and what works best. So I think I'm very optimistic on that side of it. And we picked up the head coach for, I want to say Bold, not the, what's that team? Boise State? Not Boise. Crap. We got the head coach from there as our quarterback coach. So we're definitely going to see what he's doing.
I can see him in my head.
I
too.
want to interject his name.
I'm trying.
I forgot. He's not even his first time coaching the NFL.
Yeah, it's his first time coaching, but he was the head coach for the college team. So
Mhm.
basically stepped away from that to become the quarterback coach. So we're definitely going to see.
Bowling Green. That's what it is. Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. Bowling Green.
Sky Loafer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's going to be good, bringing some fresh ideas. I can personally tell you, I think this is probably going to be Jalen Hurts' best season. This 2025 season is going to be his best.
Okay.
But yeah, Jay, I don't want to take up all of it. I'll let you go.
Oh yeah, I mean, my optimism is there because we have a guy named Vic Fangio, man in the defense, and he's, our coaching staff, our philosophy on defense is going to stay the same. I strongly believe that's what kept us in everything the whole season. Our defense was really, and our running game was the identity of our team. I agree with Jalen having his best season. It's weird because Jalen has sense every year in the NFL he's gotten better and better to the point where he got the Super Bowl. I mean, you guys probably see it, or maybe you don't, but the disrespect is still there. They're still, putting that he has all these big pieces around him. He has this offensive line. He has these receivers. But it's not his fault that how we put this team around him. He's just dealing with the cards that he was dealt. So I'm very optimistic for next season. Our division, I feel, is going to be stronger. You guys have the right to have the optimism. You're one game away from the Super Bowl. So I definitely feel like why Chris is hype and why you're hype, because we were one game away. Even though, we won that game, you guys were one game away. What I see in JD, I see a lot of Jalen Hurts in JD, believe it or not. Like,
Okay.
I see a guy who don't quit, understand? I see a guy who he kind of doesn't shy away from the big moments. So if you want to ask me about like how my outlook is for the Commanders, I say I know we're going to have to face him for a long, long time. And I think he's going to get better. He proved a lot to me as the year went on, to the point where right before the NFC Championships, I said, you can't even deny this inside of you that this kid is going to be good. Like, even though he's an opposing team, you have to give him his credit. Like, he just kept not wanting to quit. So I see a little bit of Jalen, but that's why I'm so amped about Jalen, because Jalen has been through so much in his first 5 years. I feel like this year he's going to just go off fully.
Yeah.
All right. Little Jalen and JD5. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I don't disagree with it. Because I know the people are making the comparisons. Oh, he's another Lamar Jackson. Oh, he's just a black Joe Burrow. Oh, he's just another Jalen Hurts. I'm like, yes, yes, Joe Burrow.
I don't compare him to anybody. I think JD is kind of his own.
He's his own person.
I don't see him like Lamar. I see him the characteristics, like the leadership. I see like the Jalen. Because I feel like guys like Lamar, they don't have that that thing to get teams over their hump. Like, to me, I respect Josh Allen, but he's one of those guys. He doesn't have to get over the hump. And I see JD as one of those guys who might be able to, because, I mean, you guys made it to the NFC Championship in his rookie season. That's a huge feat. You understand? Right. But that's why going into that game, I was like, we can't lose to a team who just put this together in 365 days. And, we've been trying to build and get back. So, that I do give y'all respect for that.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing of not going over the hump with certain quarterbacks, I think one thing with Josh, it has never been his problem. It's always been his defense's fault. If we're gonna go off topic a little bit, you can't blame Josh for leaving 13 seconds left on the clock, and Kermit the Frog to Mr. Taylor Swift connection kept happening over and over and over again. It's like 13 seconds, 2 timeouts. Outside of Pat Mahomes and maybe Tom Brady, who's going to do that?
Yeah, that's true. Having a great defense does definitely benefit, because both Super Bowls, Jalen's defense was in the top 5, and you guys had a pretty decent defense. I think was 3rd team total, 3rd in pass defense with 29 in rush. So your defense wasn't terrible, but you gift a good quarterback a really good defense, and he's going to make the most of it, because field position is going to matter, and just the tone of the game is going to matter, so you give a good quarterback decent to above average defense, he's gonna make something happen out of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the ceiling with the Commanders going into this season? We know we played y'all NFC Championship, but with all the changes and with Debo now, Laramie Tunsil, how do y'all feel like y'all can see yourselves back in the NFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Most definitely. I think the most we get, is probably 12 to 13 wins.
Okay.
I think, and I'm hoping. But we can most absolutely get back into the NFC title game. I mean, you got to think about it. This team, that being Washington, they outside of Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz, they had no weapons. Yes, you have Jaden Daniels back there at quarterback, and you can kind of consider him a weapon. But for what he did with basically no receiving core outside of Ertz and McLaurin, it was impressive. So that's why I feel like with Debo Samuel this year, I think there's going to be a lot more that can be done, and there's a lot more that can be accomplished. And I would not be surprised if they get back to the NFC title game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest with you.
Like I said, they have the right to have that optimism because you guys were you pushed the envelope all the way to the game before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that Laramie Tunsil pick, I see more of a threat than the Debo pick, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Give
JD some more time. The offensive line didn't help him too much last year, especially
because exactly, and I don't think y'all's goal with JD is to have him scramble. Like at the end of the day, he was scrambling. These weren't plays for him to run.
He's definitely a passer first because I watched him pretty intensely last year. And I noticed like he would literally run at the last, go through all his reads, just take off. There's no design runs. He has a sneaky elusiveness. So his runs, that's why I can't compare him to Jalen or Lamar because he's definitely more of a passer to begin with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, check your mic, Jay, just real quick.
Yeah, check your mic.
Yeah,
you can hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, my fault. The mic was getting blocked. Yeah, my fault. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, bro.
Yeah. Go to the comments. I see people having I see some Cowboys.
Yeah, Linda. Boots on the ground, Eric. My guys.
Eagles. Like
I like that.
What's going on? I see Cowboy talking here. One thing we could agree on is we do not mess with no Cowgirls.
Yeah.
Hell no.
We good on them. We good.
Never get into it.
Yeah, but yeah, fellas. So I know we talked about JD. Where do y'all see Jalen Hurts? Do y'all put him top 5? Do y'all put him top 10? Where do you put him at as a quarterback?
Honest assessment.
Yeah, honest opinion.
As if we weren't in the room.
And a solid reason, honestly.
Yeah. I've got Jalen top 10. I don't know if I can, but he's Super Bowl.
This is how I love putting people in a pickle. Because for us, it's definitive. That us is a quick answer. Definitely 1, 2, 3.
Right. 1, 2, 3. I think.
I mean, he only has one loss versus AFC teams, but go ahead.
Right. I've got it's Mahomes, Josh, Lamar, Burrow. I've got my top 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think top 4. I think once you get to 5, then you can start playing. Pick your favorites. I think that top 4.
Mm-hmm.
It depends who you have at 5. Depends who you have at 5. Because I know people who would put Jaden at 5, and I'm like, bias aside, I would. Bias aside, I've got him top 8. Jalen, I think, is around that 5 to 7 mark. 2 Super Bowls, 1 win, 2 NFC Championship games. Comes off one of his better years in the league. Probably because we only have 1 year on JD5. I'm rocking his jersey. off of 1 year, sure. But if you're talking sustained, Jalen's going to be in that top 5 conversation. I mean, you can make a case for guys like Herbo, but he's always going to be right now a what-if quarterback. You've got guys like CJ Stroud who had a sophomore slump. You've got Dak. You've got Baker. You've got Stafford. You've got turnover poppy Jared Goff. You've got I'm missing someone in the west or in the north. Jordan Love.
Stafford
you could put in there.
Where do you put Baker? Just curious.
Baker and Stafford still get love too, both of them.
I think they should. I think they should. Once I got Baker top 10. On all honesty,
Okay.
Once he got to Tampa Bay, flipped the switch. Like it just made everything easier for him. And I mean, having a Hall of Fame receiver, Mike Evans, helps, but I've got him top 10. So I think at the highest, I've got Jalen at 5.
Okay.
Before Chris goes, I just want to say one thing. Chris, those first 4 quarterbacks he mentioned, Jalen has beat all of them head to head, and Mahomes twice. Mahomes twice, yes. But yes, continue.
Oh, damn. Now you're putting me in a tough spot.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before you said
look.
everybody. And he only has one loss to the AFC, and it's the Jets, because they had a bum knee that game, but yeah.
Well, technically, y'all lost to Mahomes in the Super Bowl, too.
Regular season,
regular season, yeah.
Yeah, too, yeah. You're absolutely right. You're right. Let me get that correct.
I'm gonna say.
Oh, somebody's flaming.
See, this is tough.
Comments.
See, this is tough right here. This is tough because this is tough, and I'm not gonna lie. So I'll at least name some quarterbacks I got. I got Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, and the reason I put Joe Burrow 2, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. If you look at Joe Burrow's stats from last season, like just his stats alone,
MVP.
He should have won MVP. Yeah. But because he was on a bummy team like the Bengals, it didn't work out.
Hold on. No. The team is great. Their defense basura.
4 straight losses, giving up when they scored 30 points.
35.
Giving up more than 35. Yeah, 35. You see, it's just unbelievable what they did to that dude.
So it's Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Allen 3.
Lamar?
Yeah, Lamar 4. Even though I don't like Lamar that much, you know.
Lamar chokes.
What do you mean by that?
I love Lamar as a player, but he can't get it done, man.
Yeah, he can't get it done.
Chris, what do you mean by that? You don't like him that much. What do you mean by that? Wait, what is he not quarterbacking enough
Lamar
for you?
Is that good, okay? I think Lamar's one of the most overrated players in the league. I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, listen. Yo, I ain't gonna
hold
Chris. I might be on a Chris take with that. I love
Hold up, because let's be real. Let's be real. Even though I hate, and look, I appreciate y'all having us on. I do. But even though I hate people, Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson did.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I mean, yes, with the help of Saquon Barkley and all, but I mean, still though, he got the job done.
Yeah, Lamar had Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he had Derrick Henry and still couldn't get the job done.
The Eagles embarrassed him when they played them in Baltimore.
Exactly. And so it's just kind of my thing of like, that's why I think Jalen is also better than Lamar. I'm not even going to hold you. I'm not even going to lie to. I put Dak over Lamar.
Whoa.
Eric, are you still in the chat? Eric, you in the chat? Chris, the Cowboys fan?
I don't know about that one. Over Dak?
Man, that was a good time.
I feel like with Dak, your best ability is your
that right there.
And he's getting hurt every other season. So,
Chris.
I mean,
I want to know why do you feel that way? I'm just curious. Why do you put Dak over him?
Because I feel like, let's be real. I feel like if Dak, let's say if he wasn't on the Cowboys at all, because we know how the Cowboys are when they get in the playoffs. Let's say if Dak was on the a different team, like in good squad, that could I think
a good organization.
I think he could be the missing piece that could get that team over the hump.
Yo, I'm going to lie to you. I 100% agree.
Because think about it this way. Right? Mobile quarterbacks really don't get it done in the playoffs. And let's be real. Jalen isn't all that mobile. Yes, he can run a little, but he's not really mobile. Yeah, he's not really mobile. Jaden Daniels isn't really that mobile. Yes, he can be mobile, but he's not that mobile. Mobile quarterbacks don't work in the playoffs. We've seen it with RG3. And we've seen it with Lamar Jackson, and there might be a couple more quarterbacks in there too. Yeah, Mike Vick. I mean, literally, like, and to top it off, Lamar. He couldn't hit the what's the expression? I think like a bright side of a barn or something like that. You know, doesn't make really sense, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's the reason Dak is better than Lamar, because Dak can be that player that gets your team over the hump if you put him on a good squad. I honestly think even if you put him on the Ravens, you could reach the AFC Championship. Yes,
Look,
Lamar
I want to
has.
add to that, Chris. I want to add to that, Chris. I do say this. I do feel like Dak's best success is going to come when he leaves Dallas one day. I think when he leaves Dallas, he's going to be a better player on another. I think he's going to be a better overall player on another team. Just something about him having that star in your helmet. I'm not a Dak Prescott fan, but I don't think he's fully trashed. Does he have that it factor to get over the hump? I don't know, because sometimes when they get to the playoffs, you know, the regular season he just crumbles from what he did in the regular season. So
yeah,
I don't know if he has it in him. That's why I'm saying JD5. I kind of see that already in him, because the first year straight to the NFC Championship, without a doubt. You understand? Like, so you got to look at that with a grain of salt. Like, okay, was it because there's not enough film on him? Year 2, or we're gonna know more. The league prepares for him more. How's it gonna be? You know, so the year 2 is going to be on the microscope for me. But I kind of agree with Dak would be better if he won another team. I fully agree with that.
Yeah, but you got to think about it like this,
stats.
too.
Look at his stats.
But I see where y'all coming from, Lamar, but Lamar's not getting over the hump because they keep adding pieces. Every year, the Ravens are adding somebody.
But
And
Lamar's
they're still like,
old.
they just picked up Alexander, bro. Like, they just picked
Jair,
him up.
Yeah, Jair.
Yeah, so, like, they just picked him up.
Like, why does he get on big stages, playoff game? The Eagles game was a big game when Jalen and them strolled in.
But look how far Lamar's gotten in comparison to Dak.
That's true. That I will say. That's why I don't know if he will be that like Chris. Like
when the lights are bright, I don't think he's that guy.
I think he will be better in another team. I think he'll have more success. I don't know if he'll be the guy to get that team over the hump fully, but I think he would be better than with having Jerry in there.
I do think Dak would play better, but what made Dak a threat was when he could run. Like, his mobility made him run.
That's true.
Dak isn't running like that anymore.
Yeah,
ever since he got that injury,
he broke his foot or something.
Yeah, that nasty injury.
That nasty injury to his leg.
Yeah, he hesitates before he makes that move. And I think, since that injury, I don't think he's going to come back. Like, I don't think he's much of a threat.
Listen,
but, I mean, granted, since then, he's never had a running back room, though.
That is true.
Listen,
then why are they not building around?
As long as Jerry's running the show, they're gonna be who they are. I'm sorry, bro.
It's Jerry world.
It's Jerry's world, and the Cowboys are gonna be who they are because he still thinks he don't need. He's the only owner without a GM. He's the only owner fully involved in day-to-day operations. Like, bro, it's not working anymore. You have done nothing post salary cap. I don't want to hear it.
They did. They did something post salary cap.
That one Super Bowl was the first year directly after the salary cap. So I kind of don't count it because it's directly the team still has. But let's just give or take what he's done in the salary cap era. Essentially nothing. The last
one thing. What they did something today on the salary cap. They give their cheerleaders a 400% pay raise.
Hey, but I give kudos to the Commanders. Y'all's front office. Y'all are not playing around.
Cooking.
I
will give y'all that. Y'all are not playing around.
Yo, check it out. I don't mean to cut you off, Warren. Think about this. Washington, I'm not gonna lie to you. We all looked at you guys kind of like a poverty franchise because owner Dan Snyder was basically treating you guys like that as an organization. 1 year into the new ownership, look at what they've done. You understand?
One true year because that year they took over, but it was still Ron, and it was weird.
To me, this was the first actual year.
Correct.
Feel me? So look at what they did. And we could get even 2-year turnaround if we want to give it. That's what Dallas would need, in my opinion, to ever be relevant again. Jerry would have to take a seat back, hire some people that know what they're doing, and then let it go because you're holding your team back. That's what Dan Snyder was doing to the Commanders.
Yeah. I mean, it took a while for him to get out. Like, it took Jim Irsay now giving his soul to God to get him out.
All owners have to grab him and kick him out. Vote him out.
That's facts. Now
it's gonna take God the Devil, Morgan Freeman, RC, like everybody that someone worships to get Jerry out of Dallas.
Nobody, he ain't going there.
Now, did y'all hear about the Lakers though? How they're
they Genie Bus sold majority ownership to a new CEO.
Now, can you see Dallas possibly doing that at some point?
Nah.
No, I think he's the most stubborn. I think he's probably the most stubborn figure in professional sports. I'm being honest.
James Dolan would like to have a word with you.
Former Knicks owner, yes, we can talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, so what positions are y'all concerned about right now after minicamp's over? Are there still areas that y'all think y'all still need to work on a little bit, or y'all maybe need to pick up maybe one pick here or there, or maybe concerns on?
D-line. It's the D-line, bro. Because
specifically defensive end or edge, however you want to put it.
No, it's not even. It's not even just edge. It's not even just edge. I'm worried about the whole D line, bro. Because literally, we had one of the worst rushing defenses last year.
Yeah, 29.
We did, and it proved in an NFC Championship game from the first play from Saquon Barkley. It proved. Yes, it was a toss to the outside, but it just proves that literally it was one of the worst. And yes, I'm praying that Jazeer Newton and Deron Payne and whoever else can break out.
Kinlaw and Sheldon Day and Carl Davis and Jacob Martin.
But literally, we're gonna need somebody to end up breaking out on this D-line because, God forbid, I can't go through another horrible defensive line year like I did. And I'll add this too. It will also be wide receiver if we do not get Terry McLaurin extended, which, by the way, I think the news I heard on that, I don't know if y'all have, is somewhere in the Jamar Chase range around like 36 to 37 mil.
Is he worth that?
Would you give him that?
I believe Terry.
Is he worth it? Yes.
Yes, I believe Terry is worth re-signing. Let's be real. Terry is probably the only wide receiver worth re-signing since probably the Art Monk days, since we had the posse back in the 80s and early 90s.
That's a good point. I think he deserves a deal just because he stood down through every quarterback, every coaching change, called balls from 20 different quarterbacks. So I think he do deserve a deal, a fairly good deal for him.
Yeah. Would I give him 38 a year? Yes. Do I think he's going to get it? No, because I said this last week with the Burgundy breakdown, me, Reedsy, and Juan Gotti. Terry is not a guy to be braggadocious and break the bank and to reset the market or to even say I want top 5 money. I think he's gonna get around that 31, 32, 33 range because he wants to see this team. It's a lot, but it's all in the guarantees. We could give him a 4-year. We could give him that DK 5 for 150 as long as the guarantees match. If we give him a 3 for 97 and a quarter and you make it somewhere in the ballpark of like 60 guaranteed, is that only 20 something a year?
That's only 25 a year. Yeah, that's what I could see him doing. I could see him taking a deal like that.
Yeah. But I mean, he'll probably get more of like a 3-year 110, 115 to get those guarantees up. Is he 30? Yes. Does that brings him to 33? Yes. Does that bring him to the end of Jaden's rookie contract? Yes. But like we've all said, and not just us, I've seen Cowboys fans say that. I've seen Ravens fans, Commanders fans, Giants fans. Name me another wide receiver who does not get in trouble in the media, doesn't get in trouble on the field, off the field, in the locker room, is under arrest, is under a grand jury, is in jail, and the biggest thing about him is that he goes fishing.
You said a wide receiver 1?
Name me a wide receiver.
I was going to say Devontae Smith.
I was going to say Devontae Smith is pretty. Yeah,
but also, But do you think Devontae Smith would have stuck around for 13 quarterbacks?
That's the thing. That's why I give Scary Terry the little bit of benefit of the doubt because he really stood around. But I kind of feel like I know he's good, but I kind of feel like I don't know how good he is because he's never had continuity with anybody. Everything you ever see from him is just flashes. I do say he reminds me of DeAndre Hopkins, meaning like he could get the ball from anybody. It doesn't even matter like who's the quarterback. He's going to catch the ball. So
Yeah.
I could see them giving him like a $23-24 million range deal. And I think he would take a team-friendly deal even at this point in his career, especially to help the team because he does want to win. He's been losing, most of his career. So he wants to win something.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's facts. But you said defensive line. For the Eagles, I think our biggest concern right now, we have a lot
corner.
we have a lot of questions at corner. We have a lot of questions at safety, and we're limited on the edge. Vic Fangio.
I think your secondary is going to be your biggest problem. I think
so,
defensive line, you'll be fine. I think like you drafted Andrew Makuba, which can y'all stop getting these damn steals in the second and third rounds? I need y'all to stop it. Okay, I'm an ODU Monarch, but I wanted Antoine Powell-Ryland. Y'all got him in the 6th round. I was like, these sons of bitches here.
They homework, doing their homework.
Doing their homework. But it's gonna be the secondary. I think because I was looking at some media. Where you guys gonna line up Cooper DeJean? Is he gonna play? Is he gonna be a safety? Is he gonna be the another white boy corner and lock down everyone else, or is he gonna go join Reed Blankenship in the safety room and with another Caucasian?
Well, Vic Fangio did say in his interview he's looking to put him anywhere. Like he's saying, I will put him at corner on certain plays. I will put him at safety on other plays. So,
but is that an issue though? Because he's not solidified.
I
don't think it'll be an issue. I think our biggest who we really need to see is Ringo, because last year Ringo got shortchanged last season with bringing in Isaiah Rodgers and with Quinyon being as good. We didn't really see what Ringo can technically do. Now we also remember that 2023 season, AJ Brown was talking all about Ringo. So seeing what he can do. Yeah, so right now, this whole offseason, everybody's competing for their role. Makuba and Sidney Brown are competing. Adoree Jackson and Ringo are competing. So we got to see what that's looking like. Jahad Campbell, he's expected to be ready in August. Expected. We're probably not even going to get Nakobe Dean till maybe November, December.
They already started the season missing pieces already.
Yeah.
So it's development and competing right now.
Here's the sad thing about Nakobe Dean is I was high on him the same way I was high on David Ajabo. I think they were in the same draft class too.
Yeah.
Is those were two guys that when they were healthy, first round linebackers, first round rush. They reminded you of guys like a Fred Warner, like a TJ Watt, before the Micah Parsons became. You need a linebacker that is the size of a defensive end. Is
hybrid,
a hybrid, exactly, or what Chris and I are used to, like the old Landon Collins as a Buffalo nickel.
Landon Collins sucks.
Landon Collins sucks. Sorry, my guy. But he is just Nakobe is just so riddled with injuries right now. I don't know if he might end up the way 9th year like tight end Cam McCormick, who's now with the Patriots, as a scouting advisor. They'll keep him around in the building. He just can't play because the moment he steps on the field, you're like, when is it coming?
Yeah, that's what happened to him. Last season, he played so good, and then he gets injured right before the playoffs. It sucks because he was injured for the first Super Bowl and the second one.
That's diabolical.
Sucks. He had to
and with Zach Bond.
And
what's that?
Well, then you had the emergence of his teammate both at Georgia and Philly in Nolan Smith.
That's true.
Like I would hate to be in Nakobe's shoes because on one hand, you're a 2-time Super Bowl champion. You're on one of the best rosters we've seen in the past few years. You've got Hall of Fame teammates. You've got Hall of Fame coaching. On the other hand, you're getting coaching from Hall of Famers because you're injured. Your teammates, your brothers who you grew up with at Georgia and in the NFL are doing what you thought you're going to do right next to you because you got injured. No fault of his own. Let's be honest. No fault because injuries happen. But Chris, it'd be like if you and I were teammates at, let's say, Florida. You got injured, so I went on to have 2 All-American seasons, drafted in the first round, while you fell to the second and can't stay healthy. We would be proud for each other, but I know you would be filled with a little bit of jealousy because we grew up on everything naturally.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes based on the contract. It goes based on the contract of how they treat Nakobe Dean with his injury, because we got Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Smile Munden, we have him, and then you got Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. Me personally, I think Campbell is built to replace Bond.
Me too.
Yeah. That's my personal opinion. Just because
that's like the 3-year plan.
Yeah, we only got Zach Bond for 3 years, so I can see them possibly, if he has a good year this year, and then possibly trading him for a solid pick, and us putting Trotter out there and putting Jahad Campbell. So what's crazy about the Eagles, and the reason why I love this team so much, we have so many players behind that are just waiting for their position.
Yeah,
all they're doing is just competing right now. Yeah, like they're just sitting there right now. So all they're doing is learning under this like pedigree of players right now. And linebacker was our biggest issue in 23. So for us to fix that, and now we're just talking about safety, like safety.
I want to ask Chris and John something before you're done, Warren, about linebackers.
Yeah. No. Go.
So basically, you guys know how important linebacker play is. Like the Eagles always undervalue linebackers. Finally this year. Now I was doing my homework on the Commanders, and ironically, their top 2 players graded by PFF were linebackers, Bobby Wagner and Nick Belmore. Tell me a little bit more about Nick Belmore. I was surprised to see his grade at 82.6. I don't watch them week in, week out. How effective was he for you guys last year?
Nick is a special teamer that we brought over from Seattle when Larry Izzo came over as our special teams coordinator. So it's going to list him as linebacker, but when they get a linebacker, you're going to start them on special teams. It's when you get like a new receiver, a new running back. You got to test the waters. You got to try the recipe on special teams. That's what he is. He's a special teams tackler and force a few fumbles as an absolute dog on special teams. You'll see him sprinkled in here and there on the field on defense because we had Jordan McGee down. Dom Hampton wasn't getting so many snaps. Luvu and Wagner were just all over the field. So you saw Ballor on the field, but he's another Jeremy Reams for us. He has a position. You'll see him at that position. But if you're going to hear a big play happen, it's because he was on special teams.
Got it. So that's why his grade is so high. He must have made some high impact play because he's right behind Wagner. Bobby Wagner is one of my favorite all-time players. I always say him, Luke Kuechly, some of the rarest linebackers you will ever find. Like him and Kuechly, I look at them the same. I swear I look at them the same.
Kuechly is the defense's Andrew Luck from the 2010s. You could not deny his talent. He was on one of the worst teams, although Carolina went to the Super Bowl. Yeah. But the moment they couldn't go back, because of him and Cam. But the moment they couldn't go back, you saw his energy just down a little bit and then retire early. Because tell me, what team wouldn't want to have a 28-year-old Superman on the team?
That's absolutely
literally. Like you put the glasses on. Hey guys, my name's Luke. I'm a linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. You take the glasses off. Why is there Final Boss music playing in the locker room right now?
Okay.
Like it's insane.
Yeah, so basically that's how I feel about Zach Bond. I feel like his impact at linebacker was a huge. People want to talk about Saquon and everything, but without Zach Bond, I don't know if the Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's my honest opinion. That's how important linebacker play is to me.
That's a good point. I think our biggest thing was his secondary. Our secondary, we did not expect Quinyon to play like this first year. And I think when you opposite of Slade, like what we have, the number 2 pass defense in the league. So we go in 23, we had what? We were ranked 20th.
Yeah, that was the biggest jump in NFL history.
Yeah. So having that is crazy. I know you got your other show that you got to go to, but before we get off,
I got time.
Got time? Okay, cool. So, how do y'all feel about this Hard Knocks with the NFC East? I personally don't like it. I want to get y'all's feedback on that.
Start with Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
As it goes.
I think it's very interesting. I honestly think it's interesting. I think it's going to give us an inside look at each team, and we kind of get to learn about a little more on each team on what they can, maybe do this year compared to last year. Obviously we know the Giants ain't gonna be shit. Let's be real.
We haven't
Let's
mentioned them
be
once. I'm not
real.
gonna hold you.
Let's be real, bro. Yeah, they got that nasty D line, but let's be real. In that clip we saw, their offensive line sucks. Anyway, no, it's gonna be interesting because now you get the real look at the coaches and what they do. Like are they chill with the guys, or are they like pushing them like a Jim Harbaugh type? Because if we think about it, Harbaugh, when he got to San Francisco, he took that team, I believe, to the playoffs in his first year because he pushed them guys so hard. And then he leaves San Francisco, goes to Michigan, comes back, and what does he do? He gets the Chargers to the playoffs because I believe he pushed them guys so hard. So it's going to be interesting. And not only that, because, when we had Dan Snyder, you would hear stories about, like, people saying, oh, is coach pushing me too hard? Dan Snyder would take him around and be like, yeah, you come with me, this, that, the other. But now, with the new coaching staff, new ownership, it's going to be interesting. And I definitely like to see what they do with Philly and Dallas also, on these Hard Knocks.
What about you, Jack?
Good point. Like at first I didn't like the idea, but now as it's getting close, I'm actually want to see it because I do want to see how the other three teams have taken the Eagles being champs. I do want to see how you guys are reacting to it. Are you guys going to be, is they going to be spoken about a lot? Is it going to be bullet board material? I'm sorry. But, I like the idea. I like the idea of finding out what's going to happen in the division and to see how hard the division is going to work to try to take the Eagles spot.
Yeah. I think they did it strategically because they announced it before we got the schedule release, which I thought was interesting. But it makes more sense. We go Philly, Dallas, New York, Philly, all in December.
No. We go New York, Philly, Dallas, Philly.
Thank you. But
Chris
he's quick.
Chris is ready.
He's quick with it.
Chris is ready he got the schedule locked down.
Oh yeah. But what's in December? Hard Knocks. So it's gonna be every week. It's all right. New York's playing Washington. Let's focus on them. Next week it's gonna be Philly versus Dallas. All right, let's focus on this. All right, next week Washington, Dallas, Washington, Philly. It's gonna be all right. It's like the title suggests, NFC Clash of the East. All right. So I'm excited because not only are we gonna see, all right, is Russ and Jameis helping Jackson, or they give him the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre treatment? All right. Dak Scott, is Dak going to be injured by the time we get to December because he doesn't show up in the month of Jan, right? Or as Cowboys fans say, January, because they don't pronounce the J's. or is he going to give Joe Milton keys to the kingdom come his next contract year, being like, yo, you've got the arm, I'm not going to come here anymore, just take it away? Are y'all going to say, all right, Jalen's being productive, Saquon's already at, call it 1,820 touchdowns by week 16, right? Are you going to let him beat the record this year, or are you going to let him beat his own record but not beat the record if he gets there again? For us, is Jaden going to be healthy? How is this offense churning? Here comes the gauntlet of the East. How are we going to perform? And it's all going to culminate come December 20th around Christmas, because we play Christmas Day against Dallas. Or around that time. Yeah, I think it's on Christmas Day. We play Dallas.
Yeah, it's on Christmas Day at 1 o'clock on Netflix, by the way.
On Netflix.
Oh, wow.
On Netflix.
Here we go. We got to get Netflix again.
It's if you don't got it for Monday Night Raw, you got to get it for this now.
I can't believe we're going to have to go through the streaming thing again, but continue, John.
But I think it was strategic. I'm ready for it. I'm just a little hesitant on how much they're going to show. Because if Philly, Washington, and let's say because Dallas made some moves, we're all within a game of each other, and it comes down to the division, how much are they going to show in the meeting rooms and the war rooms at practice of like, wait, I saw last week they were coaching this for zone 3. Let's prepare for an all-out blitz because they don't practice that at camp. Like if we show an all-out blitz, you guys could prepare for that. But now we've shown what our blitz is looking like. Jalen's gonna go, oh yeah, watch him real quick, and
yeah,
that's true. They're gonna be limited on the amount of intel
on material.
Yeah,
intel is gonna be very key, and there's gonna be extra eyes in the facility that's not gonna be on like people that are walking around camera. You don't know what people are gonna be. Everybody's has a job.
Yeah, and I was kind of like Jay, where I was on the fence about it, just because our team is a very keep to yourself team. The personality is our offensive line. Like our offensive line is the personality. But what I did find out,
the freaking Christmas album is back there. They got a Christmas album.
Yes, they do.
They are letting the front office be the last editors for Hard Knocks. So I do like that piece of it. So
it's smart.
You have to do that. They even did. Now it would be funny. They did that with the Giants, and they still let that go out. Now, that's what's funny.
Oh my lord!
But with that being said, I don't have a problem with it. I definitely can tell you we're not going to know that much about Jalen. You're not going to learn any more about Jalen. Jalen's behind the scenes. You'll probably, I think, because also they got this whole Cowboys thing coming out on Netflix too.
What?
So yeah, there's a new Cowboy documentary coming out in August or July.
What?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I feel like they're trying to feed that Cowboy audience, but I honestly feel like fans are going to start falling in love with Commanders fans and Eagles fans. I feel like our teams probably have the most personality. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, yeah,
and we might win some fans over.
Commanders are definitely going to get fans too because of JD. Like Eagles gain fans because of Jalen. Once you get a good quarterback, he starts bringing people along. That brings people. But like you said, that's what people are going to tune in really to see that duo. Like the Commanders and the Eagles right now had the biggest battle last year at our division, and like I feel like that's our number one rival. Dallas and New York right now, they're in the back burner, and I know you guys probably feel the same way. We played each other 3 times last year. Every game was good. Even though the last game was a blowout, essentially, you guys still fought to the end. We're not quitting. You understand? But at the end of the day, I think I think people really want to see that Commanders Eagles because that NFC Championship and the other 2 games were intense games.
Yeah. I mean, you probably already won some people over with Jalen's magazine photo shoot like last year.
Yeah. He had a couple of them. But
now,
let me ask, same thing with JD. His mom too. JD's mom has a big personality.
Man.
That's true.
I think they both together. I think they're a good duo for the sport. She's not overbearing on him. She's not like trying to take his spotlight. She's just his mother. I respect her stance too.
Yeah. No, that's facts. Now, I do have a question for y'all, and it's about last season. When Jalen got hurt that game, and y'all ended up winning, did y'all know in the back of y'all's minds we did win this game because Jalen did not play? Or did you feel like we would have won this if Jalen played? Just curious.
Honestly, because remember, it was almost 20. He almost handed them a 2-touchdown lead before he got injured. And
I truly just want to know, just to get a feel on the Commander side.
I'm gonna let Jonathan go first on this one.
Okay. All right. I see what you're doing to me. I remember being asked this last year. I forget by who. But I was in the boat of both. Like in the back of my mind, I was like, all right, Jalen's out. This doesn't help things either. But it's also the NFL. Kenny Pickett, former first-round pick. Your offensive line, top 3 unit in the league. Your defense, top 3 unit in the league. Your coaches are supposed to coach everyone up to the highest standards possible. So I don't want to say it's, it's solely because Jalen left. No, your defense started to get caved just a little bit towards the end. I remember Kenny fumbling and giving away a pick or a fumble. All right, small hands aside, two gloves aside. You practice. You practice this.
Yeah, that's true.
Your defensive line was getting at Jaden, but just like how we can't cover the run on the edge, the moment Jaden does his swing to the left or swing to the right, where he does that big arch in the backfield, like the McDonald's logo, and he's off on the sidelines, name me another team who would have tracked him down. Carolina took 60 yards to get him down, and Jaden gave himself up for that run. Or was that a touchdown? So I would probably say Jalen leaving hurt doesn't help things, but I wouldn't say it's the sole contributor to us beating that game. I think because when Jalen left, your whole part of your defensive line went, I'm going to check out. We got this. I'm going to check out.
Well, CJ did get kicked out too.
Yeah, CJ got ejected.
True.
That was the other reason. That was
another reason. Was CJ was
during that time, CJ was our biggest communicator on the defense.
Oh, he was communicating all right.
Yeah. He gave himself. He flipped a double bird directly at a fan in front of a ref, and it was over. That's what he did.
I didn't know that's what he did. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did it directly to a fan, like, and they just they're not gonna take. There's no 2 strikes for that.
But yeah, Chris.
All right, I'm gonna get into this one. This is very hot.
Here we go.
So I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, like Jonathan said. Part of it is, part of my reason is Jonathan's reason. Let's be real, though. You can say, yes, we lost this game because Jalen Hurts didn't play. But the question is, does Jalen Hurts play defense? No.
No.
He doesn't play. He doesn't play defense, and then that's where that's my thing with some of these Eagle fans, because they say, "Oh, if we had Jalen, we would have won." How do you solely know? If y'all had kept Jalen in the game, how do you solely know if he would have won? Because let's be real, even though if Jalen was still in the game, y'all still could have lost that game. Because of possibly some second half shenanigans or whatever. I mean, this is the NFL we're talking about, And it's not even just because Jalen was knocked out of the game. It's like Jonathan said, your defense checked out. You play 60 minutes. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. And yes, you can say the Devontae Smith drop was also part of it, because let's be real.
I don't put any blame on that. I put 0 on that.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a last minute catch, you should never have it down to the last minute catch.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it still sucks though. It still sucks.
Yeah, no, it does. And yeah, we had Saquon running all over us that day. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, if they score and Washington doesn't do anything, I'm out. Low key. But you play 60. That's what you have to do, and it didn't seem like the Eagles did that, because if we remember, after Jalen got hurt, they only scored one touchdown.
Yeah, but that was the whole point. They were up. He almost gave them a 14-0 lead before he went. They were a blowout. Looked like it was loading up for that. I never saw a game where it looked like you were gonna blow somebody out and then you lose it closely. To me, that's how it looked from my angle. Yeah. But I promise you, bro, if Jalen plays that's for us Eagle fans. I was happy we lost that game. You know why? Because they're like, oh, we don't need Jalen. We have, you know what? Without Jalen, we're not winning. Forget he is the team goes by him. He dictates the flow of the team, defense and offense. To me, that's why it was good he was out that game, because it showed everybody, listen, no matter if you have AJ, that best offensive line, Devontae, you're going to get into shootouts with teams. And the Eagles didn't get into no shootouts but that game last year. They gave up the most points in that game last year, all season, I believe. It was a mess from the moment Jalen went out. CJ got ejected for defending Jalen. It was a mess. Now, did the Commanders capitalize on the Eagles in the disarray? Yes, they did. Does Jalen play defense like Chris said? No, he does not. The defense could not stop anything. Jaden was cooking them that day. I don't know if it's because CJ went out. I don't know if they checked out when Jalen got kicked out. Got injured. But at the end of the day, without Jalen Hurts, the Eagles won't be who they are. You can't just plug in to play a guy like Kenny Pickett and think you're going to get a result. The Eagles will not be the number 1 seed or number 2 seed last year if Kenny Pickett is the starter. You understand what I'm trying to say? So for me, that game was very essential for Eagle fans to really realize. And another thing too, I don't know the exact number, but I do know that Washington was stacking the box significantly more once, because your defense is going to prepare differently once Kenny Pickett's in there, not Jalen.
Correct.
Because
Exactly.
Kenny's not taking off. You could take that extra guy and throw him in coverage. So that's why the Commanders won that game. They made all the adjustments, took full advantage of the Eagles in disarray.
Yep.
And that's not discrediting you guys, but to me, that's what happened. Like Jalen came out the game, and because a blowout looked like it was loading up, guys.
It was.
I promise you.
So
It looked like I was celebrating that day, like we're gonna put these guys away, and then it ended up not being like that. You guys ended up coming back, changing the complete tone of the game. And like I said, that's why I said this kid steps up in moments like Jalen does. He steps up. He doesn't fold like Lamar. He stepped up and he said, "Look, the Eagles look like they look confused. I'm gonna take advantage of that."
Now, before you say anything, Chris, the score was 36-33.
Yep. It was that last second Jamison Crowder touchdown.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And see, here's my thing. Not to mention, Jalen gets knocked out of the game. You know how many turnovers we had, though, that day? We had five turnovers.
5.
The Eagles could have easily taken advantage of that.
I know. You guys had 2 and we had 5.
Especially the interception at the end. Now, granted, the ball, I don't know if the ball was still in the air or not, but it seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like Slay comes over and knocks McCaffrey just a little. I don't know if the ball was still in the air. I could be wrong. But still, they get the interception off of that. The Eagles easily could have taken advantage of it. And they tried. But where they messed up was going to Devontae Smith on that pass, because they could have made Washington use their timeout.
If they ran the ball.
Yeah, if they ran the ball, because Washington, I think, only had 2 timeouts.
I think we had 2, yeah.
They then throw the ball there.
Yeah, exactly. And then, obviously Philadelphia kicks the field goal, and that gave Jaden Daniels one more shot, and because of it, he went down the field and scored. So
no, that's.
I think one thing Eagles fans, somewhat in the comments, but I know other Eagles fans were saying, well, Jalen took a dirty hit. Well, that was helmet-to-helmet contact. That was intentional. If you look at the play, is Jalen sliding? Yes. But he hits the back of his own head like a basketball on the turf. Luvu comes in after Jalen's already hit the ball. That's why they didn't throw him out. Because we were like,
Jalen's head hit the first floor, but Luvu's forearm came
in.
He solidified
it.
Yeah, he solidified it.
Yeah, he put the icing on the cake.
Yeah, but even the refs were like,
his head first. He did hit his head first on the floor.
The refs were like, we got to look at this, because if it was forearm then head, absolutely. But it went head, then came in with AJ Styles forearm.
That's why there was nothing came out of that, because they looked at that 50 million times.
Yeah. Now, I personally think that if we did have Jalen, it would have been a blowout. And I only say that just because around that time, I forgot what week that was, but around that time, everybody was banking on stopping Saquon. It was around that time Saquon was the main person you had to stop. That's back when, and Jalen
that was all season, bro.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I personally think Saquon wouldn't have got this many yards if A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert would have been healthy. We wouldn't have been able to do that. Now that I think we just didn't have Dallas Goedert, but we have A.J. Brown and Devontae. I personally think y'all were planning on stopping the run, and that's when Jalen started taking off. I personally think it would have been a Super Bowl game. It would have ended just like the Super Bowl did.
Yeah. That's how it was going, bro.
Because that's how teams are coming into us this upcoming season. Stop Saquon. He's on Madden, bro. Like that's going to be the whole focus is stop Saquon. You can stop the Eagles, force Jalen to throw.
The team that gave the most struggle last year was that game. That versus Washington was the game the Eagles struggled. They just looked. You had to question yourself, what is going on today? Because, Chris said, every turnover, we're back in it. No, we're not in it. No, we're back. It was like Washington wouldn't go away.
We didn't compliment them. Yeah.
Now, again, that's testament to JD, and that's testament also to the coaching staff. Coaching and ownership got them boys ready. I'm not saying you guys are not. You guys are good. Definitely not on the Eagles level yet. Will you get there? You probably will. Are you there yet? No. And the reason why I say that is because if Jalen plays that game, you guys, I don't see a little W happening. I really don't. He was just rolling. They were rolling on anybody. They were rolling on. They were rolling on everybody. They rolled on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They were rolling on anybody.
They had like what, a 10-game winning streak going into that game or something like that. They were like 12-2 after a 2-2 start.
That's why that game looked so confusing. But CJ going out, and we can't make excuses. Like you said, you got 60, you play 60, but it was just everything. And then we had even five turnovers couldn't get us. And then that's why I don't blame Devontae Smith, because once you got 5 turnovers, why are you not able to win a game? I don't blame Smith. I've never blamed Smitty for that loss ever.
Yeah.
And it's not only that, it's that during that 10-game win streak, y'all beat us the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, everybody preparing to stop Saquon Barkley. Because let's be real, Saquon's probably the best running back in the league, hands down.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
The 2025 season, right? I mean, 2024 season. Because he wasn't the best when he was with the Giants.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I look at him better than McCaffrey, and I look at him better than Henry, honestly.
I think he's had the best season. I would say he had the best 2024 season. Because he does have
running back.
I think when fully healthy, I might have McCaffrey over Saquon when fully healthy. Because McCaffrey's got the size to truck, where Saquon's going to hurdle or jump, which can mess up your legs more than a truck will do your shoulder. But just coming off this season, Saquon should have broken that record by 100 yards.
Yeah. My thing is this: how many games has McCaffrey changed? McCaffrey changed games, but Saquon was completely changing games. Like LA Rams last year, the runs he had on the Rams last year was 450-yard touchdown runs on them. Like, there was no answer for him. And that was a team that also gave us a run for our money. And that,
the 49ers built their team around McCaffrey.
McCaffrey,
we didn't do that.
Have enough. Yeah, they put too much on McCaffrey. Like, you got to give him some help. Like, he's a running back. You can't wear him down. He's like a workhorse. You can't wear – Saquon had his moments where he could chill. AJ's going in. Everybody's going – he had his moments. McCaffrey didn't have that.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, like Warren was saying, McCaffrey is their offense. Jalen is your offense. You just added Saquon to the equation. Where in San Francisco, no pun intended, runs through McCaffrey, runs through Kittle, then runs through Brock. Because Brock is very much a Stafford, a Baker, like your pocket passers that can get mobile for like 5 to 10 yards. Jaden and Jalen can get mobile for 60 to 70.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. I personally think that Saquon won't be as successful this year going in, and I think that's because we don't want him running around everywhere. Like, we want to keep him healthy in the postseason. So I think you're going to see a lot of A.J. Dillon and Will Shipley more than we saw last year.
I'll talk about my guy Will Shipley, man.
Yeah, because this offensive line made Miles Sanders look good, bro. We got Miles Sanders paid. We got DeAndre Swift paid.
Like, booby Miles Sanders,
yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. So I think
he's a Cowboy now, by the way.
Yeah,
him and Javonte Williams. So that's going to be just a top 30 running back group.
But what was that question that I was going to ask everybody?
I wrote it down.
Yeah, what is more likely to happen? I think I kind of already answered on my end. What is more likely to happen this 2025 season? Jaden Daniels having a successful season like he did last season, or Saquon getting up to 2,000 yards like he did last season? What is more likely to happen?
Oh, I got some. I'm not gonna go ahead. I'll let them go.
You want to go first, Chris?
Yeah.
Or you want to go?
I'll let Jonathan go first. Go first because I'm thinking about my answer.
Bias aside, based on the offseason, based on who left, who came back from both squads, based on film, I think it's actually going to be Jaden Daniels, and here's why.
Mm.
Our team actually got better. You add Laramie Tunzel, you add Debo Samuel, you bring back the same pieces he had last year. Sure, you don't bring back De'Ami Brown, but you know what we did bring in? A sub 4.35 wide receiver named Jalen Lane.
Mhm.
All right, cool. We didn't, bring back, another piece. But Brandon Coleman now goes into left guard. We lose Sam Cosme. Well, now you move Coleman onto the interior because you bring in Tunzel. You still have a right tackle in Josh Connolly Jr., who did he get blown up by Mike Green on one play? Yes. What did he do the next 3? Shut him down. Because that was the whole story of training camp was, Mike Green made a name for himself. What were the next 3 plays from Josh Connolly Jr. on Mike Green? Shut down, shut down, shut down.
Mm.
So you get him 2 guaranteed 3-year starter at tackles because Laramie Tunzel's old. You move Coleman to the inside, which is what he was at TCU, which is why when you and I went live for that draft, I was so confused why they said tackle because he's a natural-born guard. You still have Biadash, and you still have Allegretti, or I call him Alabenchi, and Nate Herbig at that other guard position. You still got Ertz, McLaurin, Noah Brown, John Bates, Ben Sinnott, Robinson, Eckler, and now you add in Ja'Cory Cross-Game-Merritt. Our defense is going to tune.
That's a lot of additions.
Our defense going to key in for JD5? Yes. But teams key on for Jalen, for Lamar, for Patrick all the time. What happens? It doesn't always work. Mm-hmm. What happens for running backs? It happens more constantly of the Madden curse, or they get injured, or they get tired, or their offensive line, for whatever reason, doesn't give them the same juice. It's easier for quarterbacks to ascend than it is for running backs, A, because of the salary cap, but B, it's easier to shut down a running back than it is a dual threat quarterback.
True.
That's true. No, that's a good point.
I'm gonna go with Jonathan on here on this one. I think and it's biased aside. It honestly is. It's biased aside. I think it's going to be Jalen because trying to repeat on what you did for a running back is hard. It really is. It's hard because we didn't see Adrian Peterson do it, and Adrian Peterson had good seasons. He had good seasons even after he got injured against us in 2011. Mm-hmm. He came back that season and looked like a beast, but I don't know if he ever. I don't know if he ever reached 2,000 again after that.
Nope.
No. He didn't.
Same thing.
And that's my thing with Saquon Barkley this year is that, yes, you have a good offensive line, but now I think people are going to start to kind of focus the shift more a little on Saquon. And, yeah, that gives Jalen Hurts the option to run. But once you start getting people to focus on your running back more, it's kind of more hard to hand the ball off to him because everybody's going to be wanting to stuff the box. And if you stuff the box and it actually works, then your production isn't as good as it was. That's why I think with Jaden this year, it's not only because we got Josh Connolly Jr. to guard him, and Laramie Tunzel, or Debo Samuel, or Terry, or Zach Ertz. But it's also because he's going into year 2. He bulked up, and he's going to be making smarter decisions than what he did last year. Because if you go back and look on some of the plays from his rookie year, and you look at the decisions he makes, you're kind of thinking to yourself, what was he trying to accomplish there? Like I think there's a play in the Tampa Bay week 1 game. He throws it to the receiver on I don't know if it was a dig route or a comeback route, but the DB just steps in front of it. Or the interception against Cleveland. You know, you're
bad
just
ball placement, rookie stuff. That's very, very much
and you're just thinking, what was he trying to accomplish there? That's why I think this year he's going to be a lot smarter in the head, and he's going to be probably looking at his playbook in his film like, okay, I know what I need to do. Because here, let me point this out to you. Tom Brady even said it. He said, I knew the Kansas City defense better than they knew themselves. Why? Because he went home and studied on Kansas City's defense. And I believe that's what Jaden has to do also this year. I think even after practice, he has to go home and study so that way he knows the defense kind of better than they do themselves. Because if he doesn't, it might get a little worried because then defenses might be able to stop him.
Yep. I said, before you guys go, I just want to make this point. Is we were talking about this 2 weeks ago on the Burgundy Breakdown when I said Caleb Williams looked like an average Sam Howell. And the biggest thing to my point was film. Caleb straight out said, I didn't know how to properly sit down and focus on, okay, what coverage are they running? What am I looking out for on film? Sam was doing that in Washington. Jaden does that in Washington. Pat and Jalen does that in New England and whatnot. Caleb in Chicago, and I'm going to make the same joke, but it's not going to be as funny, is he probably is a Drake fan because he heard Kendrick say turn the TV off and did exactly that in the film room. So he couldn't read the film properly. Jaden, who went to LSU, who after 2 years was after Joe Burrow, out of the past few years, what are their biggest accomplishments? Heisman Trophy winners, extremely smart. Oh yeah, their first season healthy, NFC Championship, AFC Championship game. Yeah. So I think him watching the film on whatever team it is, and that was the other thing for us is some of the biggest accomplishments, news coming out in the offseason. Jaden would be there at 4 a.m. before Kingsbury is even in the building watching film. Well, who was doing that for 20 years?
Tom Brady.
Not to make the comparison, but it's like young guy watches his film, wants to get better, is beating his OC. I like that. I like what he's putting down. I like what he's cooking.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I like it's good that now you got a quarterback that's invested. That's the thing. He's invested. I'll let Jay go, but we'll know what type of person and player Jaden Daniels is when it's contract time. Is he going to be willing to take less money to keep this team going, or is he going to get all he can and be in that situation?
I mean, Mahomes got that 10-year, $500 million contract, and he still won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but he still left money on the table so other people can get paid too.
Which is an insane sentence to say. You took $495 million and left money on the table. That's an insane sentence.
Yeah. What was it? It was 10 years, so it's like
10 years,
you can do so much with that, bro. It's like
so
I just think with Jaden Daniels, we know what Dak did. We know what Dak did. He's
4 years for $60 million each.
8 years of that. We have 8 years of that.
Yeah, we know what Jalen did with his contract. It's really let's see what Jaden Daniels is gonna do with his contract.
This is the Commanders' window. Rookie quarterback, rookie deal. This is the window.
It's what San Fran did.
It's what teams do. That's how the Eagles won the first Super Bowl when Wentz was on the rookie deal. They had that whole team was because Wentz was on a rookie deal. Same thing with the first Super Bowl. Jalen was on a rookie deal. They had a bunch of pieces. So the window for a team with a young quarterback is the first 4 or 5 years.
It is, and I'm reading the comments. I don't want to get it twisted from our YouTube comments. Like Sean, no commentary, flying high, feel the D's. You guys are absolutely right. Your front seven should be feared. It should be vaunted. We didn't have the offensive line to protect it, but you guys also weren't putting up 8 sacks a game either. No. I don't want some fans to say, man, we got the best front seven in the league. Yes. Definitely, you've got the depth for it, like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, Zach Bond. I'm missing a few guys. Complete dogs on that front seven, and you especially showed it on the Rams game.
Yeah,
but you're not putting up 8, 9, 10
they had
sacks.
That dominant defense. They had a cohesive defensive line, the Eagles, but they were not scary really at all. They were just the Super Bowl don't let it. They were played there. I'm telling you, they don't get fooled by Josh Sweat. They didn't do that his whole career. Milton was. I respect them. We missed them and everything, but they never changed the game like they did at that Super Bowl ever in their whole careers.
Yeah, but you also can't teach that. It's being a cohesive defensive line. All of us Commanders these past 2-3 years is what has been our biggest downfall. And Flying High was saying it. Our front seven, John Allen, Deron Payne, and our edge rushers.
29th in rush. You guys were third in pass defense, 29th in rush defense, but 13 in overall defense. What does that
overall
tell
defense?
Me? That tells me that's a team with a good back end, but the front end is not giving them any help. Because
and it wasn't even
pass defense at the bottom of rush defense.
And it wasn't even our linebackers because Frankie Louisville put up 8 sacks at linebacker.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner had another 4 or 5. So our linebacker department, we cool. Because I'm a Jordan McGee guy. He was high on my list. He's one of my guys. And Witt said it. Is it not for the injury? They had nickel dime packages just for McGee because he's so athletic. What's been our biggest issue? That front 4. Payne's not getting to the quarterback like he's getting paid for. John Allen wasn't getting to the quarterback like we were paying him for. Your edge rushers and Dorrance Armstrong and Javante Jean-Baptiste and Dante Fowler. Fowler aside,
a lot of those guys are first-round guys, right? Yeah,
a lot of those guys are first-round guys. Who had money and bets on Fowler having a 10.5 sack season? Nobody.
So I'm gonna add to that though. So who is y'all's defensive line coach?
Oh crap! I can see him in my head. Tap, Daryl Tap.
So mind you, I'm gonna go back to the 2022 season where we almost broke the record in sacks.
Right,
70.
We didn't even win the Super Bowl with that. So I'm gonna put that out there first. So sacks do not matter.
As much
when
as
it comes to that,
as much as we think it does. Yeah.
So
they just so
next,
impactful.
I'm gonna also say this was also the defensive line. We probably had a few changes that 2023 season as well.
Correct.
So we kind of had the same players except Hassan Reddick. But what did Hassan Reddick do? And we were hoping Bryce Huff would be that guy.
Took the money.
Took the money,
yeah. Hey, Bryce Huff did the same thing. So that's.
I say y'all gotta stop trading for edge rushers at this rate.
Yeah,
you're over 2.
Yeah, just stop it. Yeah, don't do it.
But my reason for saying that is because I think when it comes to that, y'all have first-round draft picks on your defensive line. Maybe it's the coaching and the development of it.
It very well could be. But Allen and Payne have been here. Allen's been here 2017. Payne's been here 2018. They've gone through all the coaching. They've gone through all the schemes. They've gone through all the playbooks. They each have had one breakout season, get paid, fit off to Thanosville because they dust.
Got you. Okay.
So coaching is going to be
interesting to hear from a command. I never heard a Commanders fan say that. Like after they got paid, they feel like it took a step back.
I mean, look at Payne. He got paid as a top 10 defensive tackle, 4 sacks this season.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it.
Is sacks everything? And like to Warren's point, no, it's not. But what is the one stat everyone and their mother is going to cry for the Hall of Fame for? It's sacks.
That's true.
Sacks gets you a contract. It gets you a contract.
Sacks get you contracts. Exactly. So and even those first few games, Baker's not the biggest scrambling quarterback. He carved up our defensive line. Wow. We should have had 7 sacks, on Baker, runs right through him.
Wow.
Just unhand me, scoundrel. Get off me, you heathen. Off to the races for a first down. He shook Wagner out of his ankles in the playoffs. He beat that old man off the brakes.
Nice.
But what is Wagner? A future Hall of Famer at linebacker. It's okay. Yeah. What are defensive tackles paid to do? Cause disruption and
rush
get the
things,
quarterback.
Yeah, rush things, disrupt things, rush things, just mess things up, take things off timing.
Yeah. I remember when John Allen was a fringe top 10 or your top that 8 to 11 spot where people have Kobe in their top 10, that 8 to 11 spot. I could name you 15 to 20 defensive tackles who are better than him, and half of those are in the NFC.
Got you.
Rams, Niners, Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, Buccaneers, Saints to a degree. Not Packers. Not Seattle either. I'm missing the conference. The North, Detroit. Like there's 9 groups I listed right there before I get to us.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys wiped down Detroit. That was that kind of like
We appreciate
very,
that, guys.
very shocking to see because
We
I did
appreciate
not.
that.
I was like, because Detroit was the team we were licking our chops for because everybody's like, oh, that's the team that's going to take down the Eagles. That's the team. That's the team. I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't a little nervous. Like, bro, they just walked them in their house. Like, Ford Field, they just, that whole city, they turned the whole city off. Washington, they turned the whole city off in Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit deserved that, though, bro. The way they were playing these teams, they deserve that.
You guys wiped them down, though.
And I think, if I remember correctly, Aiden was getting ready to get cleared by the time it was Super Bowl time.
Okay, Hutchinson.
So Hutchinson. So he was going to be a fringe starter if y'all were going to see him in the title game. I'm glad he's staying healthy. I'm glad he's rehabbing because what he went through, man, you're lucky you didn't lose a leg. But could you imagine that Detroit defense against you guys, but add Aiden Hutchinson back? You're running your left and right guard or your left and left tackle just for Aiden alone, where you didn't have that problem with us because like is Allen and Payne disruptors? Yeah, I guess, but they're not Aiden Hutchinson's. They're not Jared Versus.
Jalen Carter's.
They're not Micah Parsons. They're not Oda Wingba. Yeah. They're not any of the guys where you look at the spreadsheets and you're like, that guy right there. Like Teron Armstead just said, so man, what's one reason why you left football? Man, there's this guy named Jared Verse in LA. He made me want to give up football.
Wow.
So
Nate, that's an insane thing for a rookie.
That's an insane thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at it as so there could be a very strong chance y'all can be fighting for TJ Watt or Hendrickson. Is that a possibility?
You guys are going to start attracting bigger names as you guys get
because I truly think it's coaching and the front office. Like if they've been here this long and they have not like no production, it's time to like cut the cord on them. Like at the end
it's why we let Allen ship off to Minnesota. He got like 3 years, $93 million for Minnesota, but they need a defensive tackle, so it's not going to be the worst option out there. Payne's contract was just so unmovable, and Chris, we've touched on this in the group chat. He got paid for what he was worth at the time correctly. That his contract's unmovable until next year.
Wow,
we're stuck with him because he's earning like 22 a year. And his salary cap hit, if we move him, is like 17.
Oh man, that's too much for one player who's not actually having a major impact.
Yeah. You know what I could do with $17 million a year?
Salary cap.
Live in Washington D.C. That's all I could do.
That's facts. But so is TJ Watt somebody that y'all are looking at, or even Hendrickson?
A lot of insiders are gonna keep our hat in the ring. Like Lewis Jr. thinks Trey is still in the fight. Chris, I think you've said in the chat that we should still go get them. I've been out since we didn't do it at the draft. We've got 5 picks next year: a first, a third, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh. They're not getting a first for Trey right now. Because he's gonna want that gigi contract.
Yeah, he wants the contract before he gets in the building. Yeah, he's gonna
exactly. So that moves us to a third. Well, they're not gonna. They're gonna want a second in return, which rightfully so. One of the most elite edge rushers in the game right now. Back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. We don't have that. Okay, so who on our defense would you trade for? There's no one really that's going to be like, oh, man, he's got to match Trey's production and value. Okay. You guys could do it. Philly could do that. You've got depth pieces. You've got the salary cap. I don't think it's not unrealistic for us to go get him. But it's not a surefire.
You know the cost that comes with.
Yeah. Exactly. The what's the old saying? The pros don't outweigh the cons. I'm about to put it that way. I can't figure out the right saying.
You know, people around the league have said that like people want to play with Jaden Daniels. Like there's players vouching. I've heard that. And 5 years ago, like when Jalen after his second year, that was a thing that was going around him. So you guys are gonna attract, like Warren said, bigger names, like because they're gonna want to play with a young quarterback on a rookie deal with a good team around them. They're gonna want to play. So you guys are gonna. I can see you guys making a splash, especially with new ownership.
Yeah, I don't think y'all are done yet. I think there's gonna be a play that's gonna be made.
Definitely with the team I'm most concerned.
Y'all have the money for it. Y'all definitely have the money for it. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised with that. Me, personally, I kind of don't want the Eagles to make any more moves. I'd rather keep what we got and just develop everybody. Yeah, because I feel like we have the depth when it comes to secondary to where somebody's going to make a move. Somebody is going to step up. So I do hate that y'all did pick up that cornerback from Ole Miss because we even had we even gave him the visits. He was part of one of our visits. Yeah, so that was a good move that y'all made. With
I think he's a taller corner, right?
He's 6'1", 6'2", yeah. So he's up there.
He's up there.
I had him as first round grade
for like an AJ for guys like him.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
No, that's facts. But yeah, I know we've been on here going on a little over an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Almost an hour and a half.
Y'all got anything before we get up out of here?
We had touched on it in the chats thing between me and y'all. Chris Sims puts out his top 10 rankings.
Jalen's not even on there. I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts is not.
He had him at 10, right?
He had him at 10. So in order, his core 4: number 1, Lamar; number 2, Josh; number 3, Joe Shiesty; number 4 is Kermit the Frog; number 5 is JD5; number 6 is Frat Stafford; number 7 is CJ Sophomore Slump; number 8 is Head and Shoulders Justin Herbert; number 9
best nickname, bro.
number 9 is Baker Mayfield, and number 10 is Jalen will or will not hurts the team.
Oh my God! He put him on there just to put him on there.
Just to put him on there.
He doesn't want to even touch his name. He's so in his bag when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Like he refuses to accept the defeat that he was just wrong the whole time. Just admit it already, dude. That's why he's so high on Jalen, like all the other young quarterbacks. Because, bro, you missed on Jalen Hurts. Completely missed on him, bro. Completely.
Yeah. Media gets views when they talk negative on Jalen Hurts. So sometimes when I see things like that, like you got to remember, we're a team that travels. We're expanding. Like in all reality, we've been probably the most successful team in the NFC East the last quarter century. Like think about
you look at everything.
When you look at it like that, so we grew a fan base.
They're not wrong. Chris, they're not wrong.
Yeah, you've grown a fan base. Yeah, you've grown a fan base. But I just think they're just trying to piss off Eagles. I think you got to put Jalen at 5 just because Lamar Jackson has had a team around him just like Jalen. Like he's had a defense consistently just like Jalen.
They're gonna point at the MVPs, but he don't got a Super Bowl. He don't got a Super Bowl MVP. So it's like we could go back and forth. I just think that like the first I look at Joe Burrow. I really look at Joe Burrow as like the best quarterback. Like when you have to actually imagine Joe Burrow on the Commanders or the Eagles, he would wipe up, bro. You understand? He does what he can with Cincinnati, and they haven't in nothing. His defenses give up 30. He puts up 35. His defense gives up 40. He puts up 38. His defense gives up 42. So he gets zero help. If you gave me one quarterback to say physically skilled, I would put him right there with him.
I think Josh is up there though.
Over Josh Allen?
Josh is there too. But I'd like Joe Burrow as far as he just reminds me of an old school traditional.
He's a traditional quarterback.
He could have played in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and right now. I feel like he could have played in any era. Joe Burrow.
No, Joe Burrow is definitely your traditional quarterback. When you think of a quarterback, you see Joe Burrow.
Too.
But you got to remember, it's 2025 now. Things are changing. Quarterbacks are mobile now.
Yeah, but Joe can get mobile when he needs to, though.
He does. He can. I give him that. I just think at the end of the day, like Jalen, like who are you going to trust when it's time to win the big game? I think that matters more than what people are really giving it, because people get nervous. Fold. They break
Jalen
down.
Hurts does not fold.
Yeah, that's like Jaden Daniels. Let's just say, like, if Jaden Daniels was that player to get y'all all the way to the Super Bowl, and he just like lays an egg, bro.
Yeah.
Would you look at him differently?
To a degree. I think because he got us there for the first time since that 91-92 season, you would have to say in his first 2 years, he did what Joe Burrow did. AFC Championship, Super Bowl. NFC Championship game, Super Bowl. So now you've already put him one of your greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
Now, when he lays an egg, he'll diminish you. But to Joe's defense, his offensive line was as bad as his defense is now.
Yeah, he has the worst. He has the worst pieces out of all the core. He has the worst core.
Yeah,
he definitely does.
Yeah. Give Joe a second more of a blocked Aaron Donald. He has that pass over the sideline to get them into field goal range. So if Jaden was in the same situation, I think because Jaden's more mobile than Joe, he would have found a way to shake Aaron or get out of that situation.
Himself out. Yeah.
Or scramble himself out. But if Jaden goes out there and does what Mahomes just did this year, Mahomes against Tampa Bay is 9 of 14 for 133 and 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, it's going to leave a sour taste in our mouths. But we're also not going to say Jaden is the worst quarterback we've ever had. No, he's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever had.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it would diminish his value, but it would be like a 5%, not a 25%.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think you could fully judge him off that. But like when Jalen Hurts lost that first Super Bowl, I'm on camera saying this. I kept saying he's gonna win one within 5. The way he lost that game, he should have won. You understand? It's like I felt like this dude is made for these moments. He just didn't punch the stamp in. So if it were him and he folded, I would definitely look at him a little bit, not much because it's the first time. You just never know. Because look at how Mahomes looked versus the Eagles in that Super Bowl. He's never looked like that in any game in his life in the NFL. So you can never judge a player.
Against the Bucs, he did. The Bucs Super Bowl, he did. Yeah.
Yes, he did. But he looked worse against Philly. He looked worse against.
To his credit, he essentially had the Bengals offensive line with him that Super Bowl.
Yeah. That one
he was on his second string across the board.
Yeah.
But this one, he had his line. He had everything. He just got punched in the mouth. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah, no, that's true. I just wouldn't put Jaden Daniels at number 5.
Me neither. I
being
put him
a
in the
rookie.
top 10.
With him being a rookie, I wouldn't put him up there yet.
Okay.
I think a second year, because let's be honest, there's no
I got him
film
at
on
6.
him.
I have him
Now
at
that
6.
there is film on him, let's see how he produces with that. Justin Herbert has film on him, and he just can't get over the hump.
Like I'm a fan of Herbert. I can't keep defending him.
Yeah, you can't. No.
Yeah.
Because
I think they are going to get better, but
I don't mind.
Can he do it?
See, if you put Jaden in your top 5, let's just say if you put Jaden in your top 5, Jalen has to be in your top 5. That's how I view it. Like if you have JD 5 in there, because there's a couple quarterbacks. Okay, you could look at Herbert, Lamar Jackson. None of them have ever made championship game. Like this kid made a championship game in his career. That's why if you want to make an argument for him to be in the top 5, cool. I could agree with that to a degree because he did accomplish what none of these other guys have. A lot of them haven't. Most of the quarterbacks have not reached the shoes he's stepped in. So that's why I believe that. But if you have JD 5 there, you got to have Jalen Hurts.
I do feel like that film matters, though, bro. That film matters because that's where you learn the tendencies. You learn so much about a player watching that film.
That's why second year is so important to all of us, even non-Commander fans. We want to see, are you going to have a sophomore slump? Are you going to take a second-year leap? Are you going to get, like Chris said, wiser? Because Chris made a good point. Those first couple weeks, obviously, you guys are watching every single play. Certain plays, you're like, what are you making these boneheaded moves? Because he's a rookie. You got to, it's like anything. Work, driving, things get better with days and experience. So that's what concerns me with JD5. How good can he be if he made an NFC championship his first year? Same thing like Jalen Hurts. He made the Super Bowl his second year of starting after having the team for his second year. So these players have made strong jumps, right away. Yeah. You have to look at it with a grain of salt. Like these guys had 8-9 years to make it and they didn't do it. And I don't want to hear they didn't have a defense or nothing.
Right. I'm gonna make 2 points to the Jaden aspect. One, if we technically look at how many games, he only played 16 games. He missed all but one drive for that Carolina game. He missed the second half of that final Dallas game. Like he wasn't playing the best, but he got hurt that Carolina game. So we won 40-7 with Mariota. Terry gets that touchdown on, I think, Bland in the back of the end zone with 6 seconds left.
Yeah.
That was
It was,
crazy.
Mariota.
That was crazy. I
it
was
was
watching
like
that the other day. The angle he
it,
took was crazy. He
I was
zigzagged
gonna
through the whole defense.
I was gonna say it was like a Pierre Garcon fade. Mariota just throws it up. Terry went up over Bland.
And lost him.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the route he took to the end zone is what scored. The way he cut and he made the defense shift left, right, left. He had them on their heels.
Yep.
Well, see,
And then
and that's the thing. Not to cut y'all off, but see, if that's the thing. If y'all go back and look at the Baltimore game on the 4th and goal, when we were down 27-13, and Tony Romo even pointed out, he said if the corner was lined up a certain way, you take the inside route, but if he's not, you take that fade. And what did Jaden do? He pump faked it and then threw it right to Terry on the outside to where only Terry could get that ball.
Nice.
And if you go back and look at the Dallas game, Mariota just puts it in a perfect spot for where Terry can just leap up and get it.
Yeah. No.
And then my second point with the top 10, I think if we're going off of based on their on the seasons and accomplishments, Mahomes is one because 4 Super Bowls like in 6 years, always in the chip. If he retired right now, he's a Mount Rushmore quarterback, and that's an insane thing to say.
That's
true.
You're absolutely right, John.
Jalen would be 2.
True.
Jalen would be 2.
Yeah.
I would have Burrow at 3. I would have Stafford at 4. I would have Jaden at 5.
You wouldn't
Matt
count
won that
MVPs?
No, because Dan Marino doesn't have a Super Bowl, and I think he has an MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
If we're going off of all the you could make Lamar 5 and Jaden at 6, but but if we're going off those accomplishments, Stafford would be in that top 5 because he won a Super Bowl the first year with the Rams.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, but he had a super team around him.
Did he though?
Yes, he did. He had a super team around him. They were building.
Name me their tight end.
They were built. They built a team of these big names. You know, that's when they had Odell and stuff. But to what they did
and
in 1 year,
it's hurt in the Super Bowl.
Stafford gets not enough respect in his league, and they almost beat the Eagles, dude, in the snow in Philly.
In the snow.
If it was not for Jalen Carter busting through the line, bro. Look, I look at Stafford like a Drew Brees or a Tom Brady. He's seen everything in the NFL.
I think Drew Brees is better.
No. That's a hot take, bro.
No. When I say that, I mean as far as preparation. Like, he's seen every defense. He's been in the league too long, dude. I don't mean
so he's seasoned.
He's seasoned.
Bro,
like age like fine wine.
You can't fool him. I don't mean as skill wise. I mean mentally wise. I feel like he's already seen everything. You cannot fool him at this day and age. Matthew Stafford. Now they got Devontae Adams and they're not going away. So I feel like he should be in the top 5, at least in a lot of people's lists, because he has the accolades, bro.
Yeah.
No, that's facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're good, John.
No, I was gonna say, and then like at that 5, it's Jaden because he's gone to the NFC Championship game in 1 year, where Lamar I think he's only sniffed the AFC Championship game once, but Lamar's got 2 Super Bowl rings or 2 MVPs, excuse me.
Yeah,
Jaden regular season
MVP. Well, what were some fans saying for our good stretch of the season? Jaden's an MVP stature of like stats, style of play, getting us to win.
I see that.
Like, did he win? Obviously not, because rookies. It's a QB award, and we were going to win it regardless.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so like I'll put Lamar at 5. I would put Jaden 6. I don't think that's a tall thing to say. Is Jaden's in your top 5? He's in your top 10. Not quite in your top 5.
Okay. And it's a very slippery slope, bro. That's the thing. Just because these quarterbacks like the Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, like they're trying to beat Patrick Mahomes, and you just can't beat him.
Yeah, you
That's
can.
the issue.
Jalen walks.
But then you got the
into
NFC where
Burrow has.
Burrow has, yes, yeah. Burrow.
I'm gonna make one statement before we go. Just let me know when I go.
I got you. But then you got Jaden Hurts who he'll make it happen. Like I don't know. I like that we can have a team to help guide him and get him there. and you're letting Jaden know this is your team. Like, you're running this offense, and we just need you to make the big move when it's time to in the championship game. I'm just glad we don't have that quarterback that just flops. Like, we can do this ranking all day, but it's going to be the gold jackets that matter the most.
Exactly.
20 years down the line. And I think Jalen is closest to getting that gold jacket from a Joe Burrow and like a Lamar Jackson, just because he's gotten rings. That's the only reason why I say that. We're going to remember the rings.
Yeah.
Like, but
look, Warren, I want to say one thing, Warren. Nobody wants to put Jalen in their top 5 or top 10. Cool. That you guys, I'm gonna give you a reason why he should be there. Once again, every quarterback we've been talking about, he's beat everyone. He's beat the Bills. He's beat Mahomes on the biggest stage. He's beat Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. He's beat Lamar in Baltimore. Like, and not just beat them, he's convincingly beat them. 2 possessions beat them. So the disrespect is gonna continue going into this 2025 season for Jalen Hurts, and that's fine. Chris Sims could have him number 10. I just don't know what else he got to do. For me, he got to go back to back. He got to do something drastic because Jalen Hurts' disrespect is still there. And I just don't get it. I don't know what it is with people just won't jump on board and say, you know what, he's a guy. But they want to pick 5 other guys or 6 other guys that'll start a franchise over Jalen Hurts. I just don't.
People have their mindset from the Alabama.
I don't see it. I don't see how there's 5 better quarterbacks in the NFL than Jalen Hurts right now. I'm sorry. Because of what he's done and the levels he's most people get to the Super Bowl, they fold. It's the worst moment of their life. It wasn't. Jalen Hurts came back, beat the same team again, got his revenge, punched them again on national TV.
Convincingly.
Exactly. Convincingly. So it's just like, I don't know how Jalen is not a top 2 quarterback at this point. You know, in the state, Mahomes is the only guy above me as far as accolades. But if we're talking about skill, once again, I said I'll put Burrow 1. But John said you cannot not have Mahomes 1. You cannot not have him 1. There's no way you make the list and Mahomes not. He's done too much already, bro. He's done too much. I just think Jalen has to be right under him. In my eyes, it's just Jalen has played Mahomes 3 times, and every single time he's outplayed him. Every single game he's outplayed. Even in Kansas City when they went there, he beat him in the regular season. He outplayed Mahomes in Arrowhead. So you got to understand, Jalen goes to these people's home and beats them. You understand? And it's just like he still can't get a top 5. Mutually agree. Everybody agrees on it. He can't do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's completely fair. It's hard to argue with that. I'm sure a lot of it's bias. A lot of it's Eagles are going to be one of the overlooked teams because they're always building a super team. It's hard to argue.
4 times. I think. Are they 2?
4 teams. They're 2-2. Well, let's see. They're 1-1 in Super Bowls. So there's 3.
I just know of 3 games. I don't know. Is there 4 games? I don't think he's played Mahomes. I think he's played Mahomes 3 times, and he's 2-1.
He's played him 3 times.
Yeah, so 2-1.
2-1 versus Mahomes. And look, he eliminated the guy that everybody struggles to eliminate. Josh Allen has nightmares eliminating him. Joe Burrow has nightmares. And Jalen Hurts walked him to the QB school.
Yeah.
That's hard to
argue. I'm one it's hard to argue.
I'm one of his biggest defenders, bro. It's hard. It's hard not. It's
oh
hard
my lord!
Not to defend him. It's literally hard not to defend this guy. It's hard not to defend this guy. It's hard not to, bro. It's hard. It's hard not to because you know what? The defense too much. Yeah. Like you guys just told me, Chris Sims put him number 10. I'm not going to rant all week about that.
Oh yeah, 10 is robbery. Crazy. I got him top 6.
Okay. I
got him 6.
I can deal with 6.
I like Mahomes is up there. I think what helps Lamar and even Josh to a sense is those regular season MVPs. But they're regular season awards. But we don't vote on them until the postseason. Like that's what I think is dumb. Like I had Josh 2023 MVP, Lamar 2024 MVP. That's how it should have gone. It didn't, but it should have because look, if you look at the stats, Josh kicked Lamar in 23, but then Lamar kicked Josh in 24, but they swapped or whatever.
But they swapped, yeah, that's weird.
But they swapped. So that put Jalen at 4. I think what's carrying Burrow is because he's never had a top 15 defense. is I think is their biggest thing. Is like he went to the Super Bowl his first healthy year. Has beat Mahomes. He's like 3-1, 3-2 against Mahomes. So that's 4. So that would put Jalen 5 at the top. There's a conversation. He's top 3. I just think what's gonna kill him is either regular season MVPs or because he's always got a super weapon on the team, AJ or Saquon. But it shouldn't, because we're all gonna say the same thing about Brady with Gronk, Mahomes with Trav.
Troy Aikman with his Cowboys stars.
Aikman with his guys. Exactly. Exactly.
No, that's a really good point. Y'all pointing out a lot of good things. I like.
It's a good conversation with you guys, man. Definitely, you guys know ball. I like Chris's energy. I like how you guys get into it. I like the passion. Like I said, you guys have the right to have the optimism. You were 1 game away from the Super Bowl, 4 quarters away. So, I believe that next season is gonna be like a battle of the Commanders and the Eagles for the NFC East. I see those 2 teams at the top of the division, battling it out.
We definitely gonna have to plan to come in like halfway through the season and get on there.
Yeah.
And figure out where everybody's at. We got to.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man. Before we get up out of here, like, y'all got anything to let everybody know watching?
Well, here the next about hour or so, myself, Reed Easy, and Juan will be live the Burgundy Breakdown here on our Ballin In Burgundy Podcast YouTube channel and here live on our Instagram street. So give me like 30 minutes to prepare and we'll be back.
Nice. Give them your handles too. Let them know where they can find you on Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah. So they're gonna be for Ballin In Burgundy Podcast. They're gonna be up here, Instagram and TikTok at Ballin In Burgundy Podcast, Twitter at BIB Podcast 22 because Twitter hates long usernames. We are going to have we had 2 weeks ago. We had Gabe Taylor on the program 2 weeks ago. They all killed that episode. So we're gonna keep this thing rolling. We're gonna keep this thing growing. We're at 613 subs on the way to 750, on the way to 1,000. So we're just trying to get there. It's myself, it's Chris, it's Andrew, it's Justin, it's the one and only the Ballin In Burgundy Podcast.
And our followers, give them a follow too, give them a subscribe. You guys could definitely get some intel from them on the division. Just good show. That's how I found them watching YouTube. One day scrolling. That's literally how I found you, bro. I was scrolling down watching you. I told Warren, listen. I watched a couple episodes. These guys, they had good energy. I like the way I like the setup. I get in contact, and we did it. This was less than 2 weeks ago. Look, we're here. We got our first show under the belt.
Yeah, most definitely. And everybody watching us, like, go over there and subscribe to them. Like, if you want to know, you gotta know what's going on everywhere. So we know what's expected. So y'all go over there, subscribe to them, check them out, and likewise, y'all over there, come check us out.
Absolutely.
We're definitely going to be doing more of this, so I'm excited for it. And I know next week we got the Cowboys. We'll be talking to a few Cowboy fans as well. Woo. So we're going to keep this going. But yeah, fellas, y'all got anything else?
Hail the Redskins.
Chris, go ahead. What you got to say there? Go ahead, Chris.
Hail the Redskins. Let's have a good season. Come follow me at ChrisSkins05 on IG, and if you want to add me on Snap, ChrisSkins19. But other than that, I hope you all stay safe, have fun. The season's gonna be fun. Let's just get through the summer first, and then we go in the season. So full letters, one word. But yeah, let's keep it rolling though.
I like that. I like that
energy, Chris. You got
anything, Jay?
Yeah, I appreciate them coming on the show. Like I said, it was natural. It was natural. We didn't have too much of a war room pregame. We let it all just come out. So, like, again, I would like to have you guys on the show again. Let's do it again.
For sure.
All right, fellas. Y'all take it easy. Go Birds.
Go Birds.